Welcome to the studio, Mr. Thomson.
Thank you, Laurie.
You claim you were set up. How, why and by whom?
Well, what occurred was that I was in a very dysfunctional union for a long time, and in about 2004, amongst a whole range of other threats that were made to me, one was that they would ruin my potential political career, as was a potential at that stage, by setting me up with hookers, was the quote that was there. And subsequent, in 2007, someone else repeated that this is what we do to get people in the HSU.
Now, who made that threat in 2004?
2004 was made by a union official, and I'll go into a little bit more detail when we're in Parliament in a week's time, but it was a union official who was still a current union official there. It was made in front of 3 or 4 people, and the point that I was trying to make is that these were witnesses that we asked Fair Work to look at, and they didn't speak to any of these people at all.
If these people set you up and it was planned in 2004, how come several of the transactions were before that?
This is revealing their intent that was there. When I went down in 2002, this was a union that was bitterly divided. Their financial transparency was almost nil. There was no budgets. They rarely met as an executive. We didn't have a finance committee. All of these things I put in place. This created resentment, and you can see what's happened since I left. They've actually closed down the national office. I also made some enemies as I was leaving by strongly recommending that my successor not be my successor, and that certainly didn't make me friends there as well.
Well, let's just sum this up in a nutshell. The Fair Work Australia investigation found that on 6 occasions you'd used your union credit cards to access escort services to the total value of $6,000. Now, do you deny hand on heart that you did that?
Absolutely, and Laurie, I have always consistently said on over a dozen occasions, whenever we've been asked, that I denied any wrongdoing in relation to these issues. Absolutely, this is wrong. One of the problems, of course, with this Fair Work report, which Fair Work itself concedes, is that they've put a report together that's based on hearsay, that there isn't evidence that would be admissible in court. They go.
Well, I don't think they say it's hearsay. I read the page that you're referring to. I didn't see the word hearsay used. They did say that their function is not to be a court or a tribunal.
Well, they say that the rules of evidence don't apply to them.
They're not relying on hearsay. They're relying on your credit card records for 2 credit cards. They're relying on the phone records for your personal mobile phone.
Sure.
They're relying on hotel records of phone calls made from hotel rooms in which you were staying. I mean, it's not hearsay, it's forensic evidence. Let me read what Mr. Nasios, the investigator, says about just one of these incidents. He says, Mr. Thomson used his mobile phone to call Key Wed, which is the escort agency, twice on the evening of the 7th of April 2005. 7 separate transactions were processed by Key Wed between 7 and 9 April 2007 on Mr. Thomson's credit cards, 6 on the Diners Club card and 1 on CBA MasterCard, which means that if the transactions were all incurred by another person, that person must have been able to transact on both cards. You concede that. Mr. Thomson's driver's licence details appear on the back of the receipt from Key Wed for $2,475. A signature which bears a strong likeness to Mr. Thomson's signature appears on the receipt from Key Wed, and Mr. Thomson authorised payment of both the Diners Club statement and the CBA MasterCard statements on which the transactions occur. Now, to pull that off, to set you... The guy's got to be a genius, a criminal genius.
Not at all, Laurie. There are some very simple ways in which they can do that. The whole executive knew what my credit card numbers were. And able to do that. My driver's licence was readily available in terms of the number that was there. It's in the union office. You need that to happen. I mean,
what about your phone? You had your phone with you because you made other calls to other people, other places, on either side of the calls to this escort agency. Look, someone got a clone of your phone as well and the same SIM card?
Well, who is on the end of the phone is a proof of phone call is not proof of who's on the end of the phone. There are phone calls. There's no evidence as to who made those phone calls or whatever. I mean, cutting right through it, Laurie, it was not me.